that time. If you have ever been to any of the tailgating from the days at Floyd Casey to, of course, now at McLean Stadium, you know about the reputation of Hobby Howell and what he brings to the table, or what he brings to the smoker, or what he brings when it comes to atmosphere. And he joins us now in studio to discuss the tailgating options on game day across MLK at the Brazos Parking. And last year was your first year to do that. They made some changes. There's more changes as well. And there was, I wasn't sure, but there you were. You were never going to miss that opportunity. So let's discuss the options at Brazos Parking. And you've moved over across the street, as have many others. What was it like for you a year ago?
Actually, David, it was really good. We moved over prior to knowing that Baylor was going to cancel all their tailgating. We had no idea when we moved that was going to happen. Fortunately, we did make that move, and we've got a great spot right next to SicEm365, right on MLK. It's really no farther for us to walk to the stadium than it was when we were in our old spot, which was pretty darn close.
Kind of like going to the Farrell Center compared to the new Coliseum or whatever they're going to call it, right?
Probably.
Had to get that in there.
Probably.
Had to get spacious, roomy, atmosphere, everything pretty much.
It's very spacious. We've got so much room there. We can park right by our tailgate, which is something that you can only do at Brazos Parking. And I don't believe they're allowing that across the street. But we've got plenty of room, and what I like a lot about it is that we've got a tent, of course, but when it rains, there's crushed granite around the tent instead of grass, which turns into mud pretty quickly. So it's a much cleaner environment. We've got water and electricity and cable, and the guys over there really take care of us. They're very, very good tenants, or landlords, I guess I should say.
So you can still go full tilt. You have the tailgate to end all tailgates hobby.
Well, we did not slow down last year, if that's what you're asking.
That's what I am asking, yeah.
We had every amenity that we have had in the past, added a few things, and honestly, it's except for the crowd. The crowd was obviously much smaller last year because they weren't allowing a lot of folks in. I think some people were afraid to come out and mix because of COVID. I will say this, we probably had about 150 on average at every tailgate that we had, and there was not one case of COVID reported out of anybody that came to a tailgate. So we were proud of that.
How excited are you to see full tailgating again?
I'm very excited. We really didn't miss it last year.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited, though, because there will be more people.
Right.
And more of our friends will be able to come. And, if you don't have tickets to a Baylor game, it's hard to go out when you can watch it on TV. Mm-hmm. So we'll be full tilt, as you say, Paul, this coming year with a full crowd, and we'll probably have, if it's like year before last, we'll probably have about 350 people.
All right, last year, because we park very close to where you are based on MLK with the media parking, there's probably 50, 60, 80 cars that are parked in that section. You guys are right across the fence. Right. So I went over there one night, and it was kind of winding down because we did post-game whatever. And do you have a new toy last year that joined the tailgating circuit? A new, big, larger smoker?
The smoker.
Yeah, you got a new one. What's the story behind that one? Because I thought the other one you had was pretty good.
Well, the other one I had was great until I got this one, and so now that other one stays at home. That's my home smoker now. But I was helping a friend, a very good friend, at the Byron Nelson. He's members of the Salesmanship Club, and I would go up and help him smoke meat for the Salesmanship Club at their Marshall's tent every year. And I borrowed that smoker a couple of times for a couple of weddings that I did. And the last one I borrowed it for, he brought it down and gave it to me. So I've got a 21 or 22 foot smoker now that I take to Baylor games, which is much nicer. Cook a lot more on it at one time.
How big was the other one?
The other one was 14 feet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't like you say that like it was like 4 feet long. No, it was you've gone from large to extra large.
This is an extra large.
You've supersized.
Yeah, this is one that you can be proud to pull into any tailgate.
Brazos Parking is a private parking venue with tailgating across from McLean Stadium on MLK. There are spaces available, RV spaces. Usually those are sold out. I'm not saying that they are. I'm sure that if you want to get in touch with them, you can go to brazosparking.com, by the way, on the website, and it has all the information, all the contact information that you need, brazosparking.com. And it's before you know it, we're talking less than 2 months.
That's right.
What is today, the 9th? And they play on the 11th of September, so 2 months or so away from this coming, in fact, this weekend. The first game's at Texas State and then home for the game the second week in September. So someone wanted me to ask you, if you had to give up pork or beef and you could never go back to the other one you gave up, which would it be?
I'm not sure I want to answer that.
I mean, that's why we're recording. You are.
I'm being recorded. You know what? I would give up. Is this to eat myself or is? Oh, yeah. I'd give up pork.
So you'd continue to, well, because you don't want to give up steaks and stuff, do you?
No.
Well, look, of the many great things that Hobby makes, I mean, the prime rib is the signature.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't had one of those in a while.
Be like asking Emerald to stop saying "bam." I mean, you can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give up pork in a heartbeat compared to that.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, okay, that was a question that came from the site. They were asking me about that. When do you start on tailgating? Let's say the game's at, well, of course, is at 11. That's the earliest kickoffs. Or let's say this at 11 o'clock game. Mm-hmm. When do you start that baby up at home? Or is this one now already there? Because you used to drive it from your driveway and take it to the stadium.
No, I still bring it from home. This won't fit in the driveway, so I started on the street. But, I like to have the first round of meat. We do 2 rounds, but the first round of meat ready about 2 hours prior to game time. So whenever the game time is, and some of that takes 5 or 6 hours. So 5 or 6 hours prior to that, I would start the fire.
All right, you got the first game is on, of course, is Texas Southern, but maybe the best home schedule ever, with Brigham Young as is a non-conference game, but with Oklahoma, Texas, Iowa State, and then, of course, also Texas Tech at home for the first time in forever, along with West Virginia as well. So, I mean, probably as good a home schedule, I think, that Baylor's had in quite some time. Maybe there's been when they've had both Oklahoma, Texas, whatever. I think that's happened. But to then add Brigham Young and then to add Iowa State, who's on fire right now, or at least the expectations with them, and then the Texas Tech game, which has been neutral until last year in Lubbock.
Right. Yeah, this is a strong schedule year for Baylor. And I guess it's, unless they realign or something screwy happens, it's going to be an every other year schedule. Sans Brigham Young, but hopefully they'll substitute somebody else in there that's pretty strong. But this is a tremendous schedule, and whoever comes out to the games is going to see great teams play and fantastic games. So it's going to be a great year for Baylor football. 245
reserved numbered individual parking spaces. Again, some of these are already locked in. 132 tailgate spaces with power cable. 39 RV parking spaces, water power cable. That's always pretty cool. And then, of course, there's corporate spaces, on-site management, security, DirecTV, technical staff on lighting for games at night, and also the food truck and also market courtyard. And then we, SicEm365, will be there as well. We're usually doing the pregame here inside the studio, home or away. And then, of course, a lot of guys, we know where Ashley and Brian usually are.
Right. Yeah, they're right next door to us.
Yeah.
And so it's a fantastic atmosphere. And, you mentioned the lighting. This is one of the most safe tailgate areas I think that you can be in, because there is personnel, there's lighting all over the place. And so we feel very safe when we're there.
By the way, the Texas Tech game 2 years ago was at Waco. I forgot about that. How could I forget the butt fumble game, right? Thanks, Mike, for reminding me of that. They played that butt fumble game that got the controversy.
That's right.
Texas Tech fans are still furious about that. All right, anything else? Anything? I know there's different prices. We'll let Brazos Parking deal with that if you contact with them at brazosparking.com.
Listen, it's easy in, easy out. It really is. It's a very easy place to get in, and they've done, I'll say this, they've done everything they could to accommodate us. They have been super, super to deal with. And I'm just tickled that we made the move when we did, and that we made the move to where we did.
Yeah, and then people don't like change. Some people don't like change. Change can be very, very good. And then obviously there's change that you get stuck and you're used to whatever, and you had that location before that was kind of like right there in the middle of it all, over near the on the island, so to speak, or
right.
what. And so this is your second year. There's a lot of changes with tailgating going on at McLean Stadium with
Right.
With their new policy and the new group that's handling them, tailgate guys. So brazosparking.com is one of the options, and it's right across the street. And you're right, it's right where we are basically, in walking distance to the stadium, no matter where you are in that large area that is kind of a huge rectangle across the street.
That's right. That's right. And like I said before, we walked no further to get to our seats than we did when we were tailgating on Baylor property. And we had a very good spot on Baylor property. So in fact, we were very close to you guys over there as well.
Yeah, you were.
That was why it was a good spot.
That must be right.
Yeah, we would wrap up the pregame show and just accidentally bump into you going the wrong direction.
See, here's the thing. I could look from where we were and see when things were ready. So I knew, all right, here we go.
Paul, you knew exactly. And we would sneak, and on occasion, like, and John Maddox and all those guys from Edward Jones, they're across in Brazos
Sure,
Parking now
sure.
as well. And he'd snuggle up to us a little breakfast burrito or
Right.
maybe a little Sprite or something
Sprite,
that
yes.
he would bring along the way. So there's a lot of people that have moved across the
Tomato
street.
juice as well. He
Yeah,
loves tomato juice.
Yes, and lettuce sticks and stuff like that, and olives.
All I saw was clear
Yeah.
that he was bringing
Yeah.
over to you guys.
Man, thank you very much. It's so much fun. Do you feel pressure when I know you've done this for a long time, but it's like with anything else, you have now created a standard of what people expect from you. Have you ever driven away from a game, whatever time it starts, and go, you know what, we didn't have our A game today?
No, I think that everybody enjoys themselves, and that's the main point. It's a great place to meet, and we've got a good atmosphere, and everybody's happy when they leave. And so, by those standards, it's always a success. And, if you're giving away free food, people find it hard to complain.
Yeah. You get donations?
No. The moment you start taking money is the moment that people feel like they can criticize something.
Oh, that's right.
There you go.
There you go. That's a great question. Yeah, and a lot of times there are those who have their tailgate setups or whatever, and a lot of times you're right. There's a lot of money and time and effort and the cleanup and all that goes with it. Hobby, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hobby Hal, longtime tailgater, as good as it gets. Brazosparking.com. Brazosparking.com if you want more information about a site, a location, a possibility of being inside the atmosphere at Brazosparking.com, where Hobby will be and where SicEm365 Radio will be as well.
I have a little Lady Bears news. The